All listeners, stand by for the Caffeine, Lifts, and Public Assist podcast.
Attention to it. I go off on like squirrel nonsense.
We'll go off on tangents a lot.
Yeah, just remember stop listening to us and just remember where you were, and then we're gonna go right back to you. We forget that it's not about us; it's about you. But we're so all about ourselves that.
Well, it's been a while since I've seen you guys, so
it has.
I'm into that. Yeah,
Perfect.
I'd like to hear what's going on.
No, that's fine. You can ask any questions about us because we haven't gone into our back. We're supposed to do like a separate episode so people actually know who we are, but.
Yeah.
It's also mostly just people that we know right now listening to us.
Yes, it's not really that big of a deal.
No one cares
once
about us.
the comments come in and say, "Who are you, douchebag?" Say, "Who are you?"
Reeves is never like, you guys are doing awesome. He's like, you should have this person on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, whatever, Reeves. I'm talking shit about him. And well, I think I said something. Oh, we were talking about COVID to Bernard.
Oh, I got off that topic super fast. I feel like that topic is gonna get me fired.
Well, I wasn't like talking about the things that happened during COVID. I was just about like, hey, we really couldn't do a lot. And I go, a guy like Reeves probably thrived because he plays video games and stuff. And he was like, yeah, he just sits in his room, has a TV. He's like, they're calling me out, asshole. Like, what's that supposed to mean? It means you like video games, Reeves.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
All right, we're back. Caffeine Lifts, Public Assist. I'm Adam.
Also, Adam.
We got Cody off camera on the side, so he'll pop in. What's up, guys?
Squeeze in there.
Yeah, Cody's here, and then we have Chief. You want to introduce yourself and give us a little something?
Sure. Bill Becker, retired division chief from Turlock Fire. I did 30 years with Turlock Fire, and then before that, I did 6 years with a different fire district up in Arnold, Ebbetts Pass Fire District, and I worked a season for the Forest Service as well. Worked a bunch of ambulance in the beginning, so I kind of got real comfortable with EMS by doing that, which I think really helped me out. So yeah, that's.
Were you just an EMT or were you a medic?
So I never did become a medic. I was an EMT, but I always worked on ALS units. So and then being in the rural, I worked rural and I worked in Stockton, and so I just got a lot of exposure to what the medics do, and that experience I think helped me out a lot as a fire. Being on the fire engine as an EMT, because I just had a lot of confidence coming into it as far as EMS calls go. So as a young firefighter, looking back, that really helped me out. I think that experience, yeah.
Yeah. So 30 years. So when did you your first run in with firefighting? What year was that? I know it was in the 1900s.
Thanks, Adam. So a little bit about me, like I played team sports as a kid, like Little League and all that stuff. But when I got into high school, I did not play team sports. I started racing. I rode motorcycles as a kid, mini bikes and all that. Growing up, that's kind of what we did, me and my neighbors in the rural area that we lived in. And then in high school, I started racing motocross. And so I did that. And I believe, I don't know if it's still this way, but back then there was beginner, intermediate, and expert classes. And then from expert, you went to pro. So I was a beginner for a couple of years, and then I moved up into the intermediate class. And I raced in different circuits up and down California. So that's kind of what I did in high school. And I love doing that, but I sort of missed that team sport concept, So I guess my point is I didn't really know, I was so focused on that in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do for a career.
Yeah.
In high school.
Yeah.
And so the way I got introduced or interested in the fire service was I met a guy at a Halloween party that was a firefighter for San Ramon Valley. And he just started talking to me about the job. We just started talking at this Halloween party, and he just explained how he got into the fire service, where he went to school. He went to Columbia Junior College, and then he just explained a little bit about the job to me, and this one guy just got me very interested in it. And so from there, I looked into the Columbia Junior College Fire Science program. And
we're talking about the one in Tuolumne County?
Yeah.
Columbia College?
Yep, Columbia College, Columbia Junior College, yeah. So
I don't know if there's another one.
There's like a really smart Columbia, but that's,
yeah.
That's totally different.
Yeah, no, it's not that.
I don't know if Bill would have been that close.
I don't know. That's why we're having this podcast.
Could have done it. So yeah, I didn't get interested in the fire service till right after high school, and it was because of this one guy. And so I just enrolled in that program at Columbia Junior College. Like I said, I got a job with the Forest Service, and I just became very interested in it. My grades, by the way, in high school weren't very good. I was a mediocre student at best, and I just didn't have a lot of focus. But once I, got focused on the fire service, my grades went right up, and I did really well in junior college.
Something you were actually like really interested in.
Yeah, it definitely gave me that focus and that motivation, and definitely improved my, educational focus.
Yeah.
What did you do for the Forest Service?
So I worked for them in 1988.
Okay.
Dating myself a little bigger.
Yeah.
And I got hired as a seasonal firefighter, but that year, and it was out of the Summit Ranger District on the Stanislaus National Forest. Okay. So Pinecrest is sort of the main hub station for them, but I was assigned to a station called Dry Meadow Station, which is a very remote station behind Beardsley Reservoir, by Skull Creek. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right near Skull Creek.
Did you ever make it out to Skull Creek, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay. I just
Wait, no. Which is that?
Skull Creek's the only other station in Bat 4.
Yeah.
You made it all the way out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't we go out there?
Not with me.
No, I think you were on the Dixie, and I was out at Skull.
Okay, you did.
And then that's when I came and
you can't forget if you make it out to Skull Creek.
Yeah.
Skull Creek's
What's the other one on the other side, up by the first station you were at? That's also pretty.
Oh,
up there.
Hermit
Springs.
That's right.
Hermit Springs is also really nice. Just there's paved road all the way to it. The Skull Creek, not so much.
Not so much.
You got to go to Cars Creek to get Skull Creek.
But people, when we have cover strike teams come in, they're always like, "We're Skull Creek. You'll get lost." I'm not. No, you can actually Google your way out there, but like there's a bunch of lock gates, so you're not getting.
Yeah.
Out. Anyway, sorry.
So if you were to take the railroad grade, that road, if you were to take that out towards Beardsley, Dry Meadow Station's out there by the Boy Scout camp, the Forest Service station.
So you worked out there?
That's where my station was, but we covered Pinecrest a lot, and we were all over the place. But so I got hired as seasonal, but the captain that was assigned to that engine that year was on a detail up in Reading, and so the engineer bumped to captain, and then me as a firefighter, I basically did engineer work that summer.
Okay.
Right off the bat.
That was your first summer, and like right off the bat.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think they called it AFEO is how I remember it. Assistant Fire Engine Operator, I think is how they called it. So that's basically what I did that first year.
Okay.
And so I didn't go back to school that winter. I just stayed working late. So I worked for the Forest Service till I think right at the beginning of December. And we burned a bunch of piles and stuff like that around the forest.
Yeah, it's the best when it's snowing and you put some fire on the ground.
Yeah.
It's real nice. Those are good days.
The brush crews would stack these piles of brush, and then they put a little
wax paper, basically.
Yeah, a small visqueen tarp over the top, and the snow would come, and then you would basically pull that visqueen back a little bit, dump a bunch of burn mix in there, and then just light it on fire and walk away. Yeah. So lots of piles burning.
And how many years did you do Forest Service?
Just that one.
Just that one? That was all you needed, and then you're like, no, this isn't me.
Yeah.
Did you work for? I know you worked for Ebbetts. Was that right after that? Sorry, I'm jumping around here.
It was, yeah. Back in those days, or for the Forest Service, there was a thing called consent decree, and basically it was hiring quotas for. So, long story short, white males didn't have a lot of hiring opportunities or promotional opportunities in the Forest Service at that time, because the Forest Service was trying to have quotas filled for.
Different demographics.
Yeah, different demographics, yeah. So my captain at the time, Matt Johnson, who I saw like 30 years later on a wildland fire, but he said, I would recommend you follow the municipal route or go work for CAL FIRE, one of those. So there just wasn't a whole lot of opportunity in those days for me. So yeah, so I basically went to work for Ebbetts Pass Fire District. I was a volunteer there, but I worked there 2 seasons as a seasonal, those next 2 summers. And then I worked there 1 year as full-time as an engineer. Yeah, so I did a stint of 6 years for them over different positions from firefighter to seasonal to engineer.
We both have had the pleasure of working side by side with Ebbetts Pass, and they are an outstanding department to work next to. So, and then a lot of the guys and gals that they get pumping out of there, whether they go somewhere else. I mean, they're usually pretty high quality. Yeah. That's where I would like recommend. I'm like, hey, if you don't mind the drive,
it's worth the drive.
It's definitely
so nice up there.
Yeah, and then doing a couple of days up there. We got Dalton. I just reconnected with him. He was one of my firefighters at West Point.
Yeah.
But he just he's a medic, and now he works. He's on the bus at for Ebbetts.
Oh, really?
And I'm trying to get him to come on. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But
Bateau?
Buto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what made you a good fireman right off the bat, right there.
I'm so thankful for that experience. It was, I call it, that's where I cut my teeth on firefighting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, and still is, a great place to start out. And back in those days, we were, you know, it's such a diverse environment up there because you have the summertime, you know, wildland potential, and then in the wintertime you're at the 4,000. Your main station was at the 4,000 foot level, and you're in the timber, and so you're dealing with snow,
Snowmageddon.
Yeah, and the highway with vehicle accidents, and then in those days the cabins all up there were still very rustic, and everybody had wood stoves and cedar shake roofs, you know. Mm-hmm. And so on Friday of every weekend in the wintertime, especially, you know, the convoy of cars would start coming up the highway.
Yeah, it's still like that.
Yeah, and the quiet little Arnold town turned into this very busy place, and the call volume went up as well. Mm-hmm. So when the weekends came up there, it wasn't, you know, are we going to go on a fire this weekend? It was, when's the first fire going to happen? I mean, we went on multiple fires every weekend.
Really?
A lot of them were caused by wood stoves and things like that, catching the wood shake shingles on fire. And so we did a lot of like interesting ladder work and things like that, real creative stuff that you really wouldn't do in a city department. And so it was kind of the Wild West of firefighting, you know. Yeah. I mean, it was organized and you know, it wasn't very chaotic. They had a system down, you know, but we had to get very creative with fighting some of these fires, you know.
And with the staffing as well.
With the staffing, yeah, because there was no truck companies or anything like that. Yeah. It was just you and the engine company and the volunteers that showed up. So.
And did they have ambulances at the time as well?
Not in those days.
They weren't transporting them?
It was private ambulance company, yeah.
Yep.
No paramedics. They got the paramedic assessment tax after I had left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, great experience overall up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very dynamic up there. You got a main highway. The population basically doubles or over doubles on the weekends, especially in the summertime. Now with the Airbnbs and everything up there, you're getting people from all walks of life up there. Yep. And then, yes, I don't know how bad your snowstorms were, but 2021 was real rough. And there was another one after that, but 2021 was pretty rough.
Yeah.
During COVID, Snowmageddon, the Airbnbers up there have no idea what they're doing in the snow.
Yep.
It was a lot of experience for me too.
Yep.
I'm not a big snow person either, so
right.
And if you can come to find out that your bunker clothes doesn't do that well in the snow. It keeps you warm enough, or at least dry, but
it gets wet.
Oh, it was miserable.
One of the funnest things I did up there, firefighting was fun up there, but one of the funnest things I did up there was drive the fire department plow truck. It was an old, 1-ton Dodge Power Wagon, and it was the fire department plow truck. So we would go out in the bigger snowstorms and plow out the 4 different fire stations.
Yeah.
And during the big storms, like you were talking about, we would there was times where we would lead the fire engines into fires with the plow truck.
Have you been up there and checked out this station at all in the past years?
So the station I was in was
one.
It was station 1, but they're in a different station now. So the station I was in is still there. It's still standing. So if you're going up Highway 4, it's on the right-hand side in town. Okay. The new station's
on the left.
On the left-hand side, yeah. So that was built after I left.
Yeah, off of Blagan, I think, is where the new station is. So now they have UTVs with tracks, and they have all the fun stuff up there. And then their plow truck you're talking, they just have a front loader. So, I mean, they're clearing all that stuff out. I mean, there's places in this state where I would highly recommend you don't get injured. You probably shouldn't get injured anywhere. I get it. This is how it goes. You get injured places. That's one of those places where it's like, if you're going to get injured, in Ebbetts Pass response area, you know, you're probably gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So like they were really good.
Adam and I, we talked about the Old Gulch Fire. It's a big wildland fire that came across from the north to the south towards that district, towards Arnold. And I want to say it was 92.
92 is what you're telling me. I haven't looked. Keep talking. I'll look
Could be wrong on that, but
That's okay. We'll
right
fact
around
check
that time. But after that, that was sort of a benchmark moment up there in that area. After that fire occurred, a lot of the homeowners started stripping away their wood shake shingles and really making their homes more fireproof and cabins more fireproof. So, and that happened in a huge way.
Really?
There was a lot of people.
You nailed it. August 16th, 1992 is a Sunday.
Yep.
And 18,000 acres near Highway 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like I said, that was a huge change agent up there, that fire. And like I said, you would see you drive down the road through the subdivisions, you see people stripping off their wood shake shingles and, you know, putting on comp, you know, and you could really see the amount of fires decline over the next decade because of that.
Really?
Yeah. So it was a different time, you know, before the Old Gulch Fire and after the Old Gulch Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I noticed.
Interesting. Makes sense though. I mean, that stuff is highly flammable. So
Yeah.
It's weird being up there because you were talking about vehicle accidents and they do, you know, still get vehicle accidents. I mean, it's right off a highway, right? Highway 4.
Yeah.
But in my experience when I was up there, I mean, I don't know if that's just the safest highway in the world. Like most of our vehicle accidents were not on Highway 4.
Yeah.
I mean, except like if you have like parades or something like that where people are, there's a lot of little turnoffs and stuff that you can get in accidents. But I don't know. Do you remember experiencing a lot on the actual highway there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was up.
times have changed.
Yeah,
Huh?
times have changed. Like they're not. We'll have to get an Ebbetts Pass guy up here to give me more of like what more recently.
For
But
sure.
when I was up there, we weren't getting a lot of Highway 4 vehicle accidents. All the side streets. I had 3 golf carts and accidents in like a couple months.
Remember you telling me about those? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of golf
Gnarly.
courses and stuff up there.
Yeah, it's definitely changed because predominantly we were working accidents on that highway. You know.
Yeah.
And it was before. Well, there was a lot of older cars on the road at that time too. Not all the safety systems, airbag and stuff that are in the cars now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had names for a lot of the different corners where common accidents would happen. Like there was 2 captains, Don Kuhn and Tim Schlott, and one of the corners were in Hathaway Pines where we get a lot of accidents. Called that Kuhn's Lagoon.
He was always out there.
Yeah, just past Arnold, by the Arnold Byway, off to the left, just as you're leaving the town of Arnold, the last building, just to the left, it goes down into a creek real steep. And cars used to slide off down into that creek, and we called that Schlott's Drop. So just like any district, we had all these names to where we were going to vehicle accidents.
Yeah. I've never heard them before, so.
Oh yeah, and they probably don't even exist anymore. But
I'm sure there's got to be somebody there that knows, so
Maybe.
I'll put some feelers out and see what I can find out.
Kuhn's Lagoon and Schlott's Drop.
All right. How long were you at Ebbetts?
6 years total.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, where did you?
So from there, I was working ambulance part-time throughout those years, and then I worked ambulance full-time between like 90 and 92, and that was with Calaveras Ambulance, who I worked in Calaveras County half the time, and then the other half the time I worked in downtown Stockton because Cal Sierra, I worked for Calaveras Ambulance as well, which was a local company up there. But then this company called Cal Sierra came in, which was a subsidiary of Stockton Ambulance. And so being that it was the same company, I worked half my shifts up in Calaveras County and then half my shifts down in Stockton. So I did that from like 90 to 92. And in 92, I got hired with City of Turlock. Yeah.
And then when did you retire from there? That was more.
I'm sorry, 93, I got hired with Turlock. So I did that from 90 to 93, the ambulance. And then, I got hired in May of 93 with Turlock. So I did that till February of 24.
Never looking back.
Yeah. So about 30 years.
Now living the retired life.
Yeah. And I might be a little unique with my retired life because I have a 12-year-old daughter I had late in life. So, I have a preteen daughter who keeps me busy.
Yeah, I bet.
So,
going 12 is eighth grade. Is that
she's
7th?
She'll be going August 13th. She'll start 7th grade.
That's great.
7th grade.
Starting middle school, which is a big,
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah. So now she's back. So this is 7th and 8th is junior high. So now she's at bottom, and then when she gets 8th grade, she's top dog, and then she goes right back to
the
bottom dog.
Yep. There's just a lot of, there's just a lot of changes going on at that age,
Yeah.
And so we're hoping she does good with junior high school, and she loves school. She did really good in elementary school, and just we hope that that continues. So
You mentioned riding motorcycles in your youth, and now you're a big cyclist. Is that kind of something that?
Oh, you're a cyclist?
yeah.
All right. I think this might have been my notes that I got on you, my undercover notes.
So I race motocross, and interestingly enough, a lot of these guys that race motocross, they cross train on bicycles. They ride bikes for cross training, and it's real common. But back in those days, I don't really remember that. I didn't ride bikes until 2015, when my brother-in-laws and father-in-law got me into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you drive somewhere, and then is there a specific place you like to ride?
I ride all over the place. Yeah, I like a lot of variety. I don't like just doing the same thing all the time. So
Yeah,
I
sure.
mix it up. Yeah. Now in Turlock, there is a group of
Cyclists?
cyclists that have ridden together for years, and they ride out of Monte Vista Chapel
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and on weekends as well. So I've ridden with them since basically 2017 and really gotten to know them well. So it's been great for me because it's a social thing as well, but it's also, like a competitive team sport.
Yeah.
And you're out there, and there is some risk to it and focus. You got to be really focused when you're riding in a group at 25, 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of fun. It's not something I ever really looked at before they got me into it. But since they've stopped riding, and my brother-in-law, my father-in-law, they've stopped riding, but I've continued on because I just love it.
I won't know too much about this, but I maybe somebody listening will know more. What bike for motocross did you ride? And then what bicycle are you now currently riding?
So for motocross, I rode a Honda CR 125. So I was in the 125 class back then. It's different now because those were 2 strokes back then. And now it's 4 strokes. So back then it was like you had the 125 class and the 250 class, mostly. And the 250 class was, the biggest, most powerful class. And now it's, 250 and 450?
You're telling me?
I feel like Cody would know better than we would.
Yeah,
4 strokes.
4-stroke, it has like the 450s, and they even make a 500 class now, I think, for...
Yeah, but if you look at like professional motocross, there's a 250 class,
Right.
and then a 450,
And a 450 class, yeah.
See, I only know
You
that.
got a 450, 4 strokes, riding with the 250, 2 strokes, I think is maybe how that works.
I think so.
Yep.
We'll have to get a motocross person on so they can really explain to me.
gotta get a lot
I only
of
know like the CCs because when we played Mario Kart, it gave you the option of 50 CCs, 100 CCs, and we always picked the bigger one. We're like, oh yeah, we're obviously bigger is better. So that's my background behind that.
So like Cody was saying, like right now with the 250 class and the 450 class, back then sort of the equivalent to that was the 125 class and the 250 class.
Okay.
So 2-stroke versus 4-stroke.
Okay.
So I raced the 125 class back then. And then for bicycles, I've always been more of a smaller brand. I like to try out smaller brands.
Yeah.
So, everybody knows Specialized bikes, right? Which they make good bikes, but everybody has Specialized bikes. I just wanted to try something a little bit different. So I did a lot of research. I started off with a Giant bike, which is a pretty well-known company. And then my second bike that I have now is a smaller company called Fazari.
Fazari.
Yeah, well,
That's a French name right there.
sounds fancy, but they're a small company based out of Utah, and they're mostly known for their mountain bikes. But in the last few years, they've made some pretty nice road bikes. And actually last year they changed their name from Fezzari, F-E-Z-Z-A-R-I, to just R-E-A-R-I. So they're doing, very well.
Good.
They're
So is this a personal hobby with whoever? I know your family kind of stopped, or does your daughter ride with you, or?
So she rides, she has a small like mountain bike that we ride in the neighborhood and stuff together, but she hasn't really road cycled.
Yeah.
And I really haven't wanted her to do that yet.
Yeah.
She's just been too small, but now it's interesting you ask that, because just now in the last 6 months or so, I've been thinking about getting her on a bike, because there is, a danger to it with the cars.
Yeah.
You got to be careful, and I'm pretty careful with what roads I choose to ride on.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you suffer more injuries on the dirt bikes or on the street bike
I mean,
or road bike?
I got banged up pretty good racing motocross, but I never broke a bone. I never got really seriously injured.
Yeah.
But you can get, easily injured racing motocross, doing mountain bikes or road bikes. I mean,
Yeah.
I've known guys get torn up real bad on mountain bikes by hitting a tree or whatever. And then people get hit by cars on road bikes or crash. So it's,
Yeah, especially with the horrible drivers that I witness on the road constantly, especially around here.
the risk is pretty much the same out there, I think.
Yeah.
It's just a different type of, hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So there is some risk to it, and so I've not really wanted her to be out on the road with me until lately. I'm starting to think about it, and wanted to get her out there with me.
Is she showing interest in wanting to do that?
She is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Starting to, yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think those outdoor activities is something that's missing now. Like a lot of people are just doing something indoor, like podcasting, which is. I wish we were doing this on a bike right now.
We need to get some animals in our backyard.
Yeah, we need some more
Or a
animals.
bike or
Yeah, we
something,
need some-
you know?
yeah. You know, all these interesting people come on.
Side note, and you can edit this out if he doesn't want to talk about it, but he's being modest. Toughest guy alive. He suffered some serious injuries on a road bike and then drove himself home with broken bones all the way from Tahoe.
That's right. It was in Tahoe.
It was Tahoe, yeah.
Did you do a death ride?
I've not done the death ride.
Okay, that just passed.
It just happened this last weekend, yeah.
And one just happened. It was up in from Markleyville through Lake Alpine to Topaz. That was another death ride that was just last weekend. And the Tahoe one was last month.
Well, I did the Tahoe ride. That's called America's Most Beautiful Bike Ride.
Oh, okay.
I think that was on June 1st.
Okay.
I think.
So I'm getting it
So
wrong.
I did do that one, and that's 100. I did it a couple years ago, just around the circumference of Lake Tahoe, which is 76 miles, I think.
See,
Beautiful miles.
So I did that a couple
Yeah,
years ago.
gorgeous.
Yeah. And then this year I did the 100-mile ride, which is you start in South Lake Tahoe, you go around the west shore, and then when you get to Tahoe City, you do an out and back to Truckee,
Okay.
and then you come back to Tahoe City and then finish the circumference around Lake. It's 100 miles.
Wow.
So that's called America's Most Beautiful Bike
How
Ride.
long is that? 100 miles. How long is it taking you? Like 4 hours?
Well, a little longer than that, probably. Because you stop at a couple aid stations and things like that. So probably riding time was probably for me. It was probably around just over 5 hours, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So double that for me, and I'll be halfway through.
Make it to Truckee. I'm not coming back.
I don't know if I'm making it Truckee. Is it uphill at any point? I don't like that.
But yeah, I can talk about getting hit by a car. But so yeah, that cycling has been, it's been great for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, my way of working out. It's sort of my, it's good for my mental health and my physical health, right? When I'm on a bike, I'm focused. I'm not really all that chatter in your brain, all that, it just kind of goes away and you're just focused on what you're doing.
For sure.
I got you right there. Yeah. No, I feel the same way when I'm under like a heavy barbell. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
do
it's-
anything else. It's just survive.
Yep. So between that aspect to it and just the exploration I've been able to do and just the different events. I mean, I go ride in like Palm Springs once a year. I've done the Tahoe ride. I go to Bay Area a lot and ride, which is beautiful. So I've seen a lot of areas I would never otherwise seen.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've gotten to meet some really cool people.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a hazard to it. But the way I look at it is there's a hazard to everything we do.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
It's the job we did. I mean, just getting out and driving. I mean, and you take as many precautions as you can, and I've done that, so I feel pretty safe doing it.
Yeah.
Overall.
What happened? Tell us what happened.
My accident was kind of a freak deal.
Yeah.
So it was a couple years ago. I went up to Tahoe to prepare for that Tahoe ride. And so I think that was happening on a Sunday that year. So this was a Saturday, so it was the day before, and I was just basically out acclimating, taking a short solo ride by myself. And there's a little resort area up there called Camp Richardson.
Okay.
And it's on the west shore. And it's a resort area, so the little 2-lane highway goes right through there. There's a crosswalk with a coffee shop and an ice cream parlor, and then there's always people walking across that crosswalk. So this was on a Saturday, so that was the case. So I was riding along that road while cars were stopping and slowing down because of the crosswalk. So there was a line of, let's say, 100 cars, right? And they were going 5 miles per hour because they were stopping for the crosswalk.
Yeah.
So I was passing those cars on the shoulder on my bike. I was probably doing 15 to 17 miles per hour. And I was being careful. I was watching the cars, and as far as I could see up, it was a straight road, and I could see, quite a ways up. All the cars were heading straight. Nobody was getting close to the white line, the fog line.
Yeah.
And so I felt pretty safe. So I was riding and just enjoying it. And the coffee shop, I was going to stop at the coffee shop in the resort, which was probably another 100 yards up. So I was riding, and then I was starting to think of, slowing down, putting the brakes on, slowing down, and where I was going to make my exit off the road to the coffee shop.
Okay.
So the next thing I know, I saw a flash, basically out of my left, just on my left side. And next thing I know, my bike was being kicked out from underneath me, and I was just flying through the air uncontrolled, and I landed hard on my left side. So what had happened is one of those cars that was in that line of slow moving cars that was waiting for the crosswalk, one of those cars decided at the last moment, without signaling or, going slow, he just decided there was a driveway there that went into a bicycle rental shop, and he just at the last moment turned into that driveway without any warning.
Yeah, he's not thinking about the bike because he's like, oh, well, a car can't fit on that right side, so he's just thinking it's clear. Didn't even look.
He didn't look. And to tell you how the timing was, if he turned in front of me and I had time to stop, it would have been one thing. But the way he turned, he hit me with his car with his right front fender.
Yep.
And so it's not like I T-boned into his passenger side door or something like that.
Yeah.
To show you the timing of it, the timing was absolutely perfect. He turned basically with his front. It was actually in front.
Right into you.
Right into me.
Yeah.
So I never saw him coming.
No.
So yeah, I got thrown off my bike, and then a lot of times if you see it coming, you can maybe roll or, tuck and roll and prevent some injury. But because I didn't see it coming, I was just flying through the air uncontrolled. So I landed hard on my left side. And so I had a cracked pelvis and then some broken ribs in my left side. But I got up. It's weird. I got up. CHP came, fire department came, the guy stopped the whole 9 yards. I had the wind knocked out of me, so I was laying on my back and trying to get my wind back, and that took a minute. But I eventually was able to stand up. I had some pain and aches and pains, but it wasn't that bad. I actually AMA'd after they checked me out. They got me in the back of the ambulance, checked me out. I AMA'd, and actually got back on my bike and rode it from there back to my car. And
So the bike was fine?
Bike was a little bent up.
Okay.
Rideable, obviously, though.
But it was rideable.
Yeah.
And so I rode another 3 to 5 miles, maybe.
And then when the adrenaline wore off.
Yeah, the adrenaline was there. So I was a little bit sore, but it wasn't terrible,
Yeah.
I thought, I'll be okay. I'll be sore for a few days, But I felt like I got lucky, like I didn't break any bones, seriously break any bones. And then I got back to my car, and I was able to load up my bike. And when I sat in my truck, I was fine because I was putting no pressure on my pelvis at all. And I had no problems breathing. Right? I was a little sore on my left side, but I didn't feel like I had broken ribs.
Yeah.
And I drove all the way home, which was like a 2.5-hour drive.
Yeah. At what point then? Keep going. 'Cause there's got to
what
be
made
a
you
point
go to
here.
the hospital?
So I got home, and when I here's where it happened. When I stepped out of my car, I couldn't bear weight on my pelvis.
Oh,
I just couldn't, and that's when I knew.
that's when you need a lift assist.
I am fucked up. You know what I mean? So I got back in my truck and I drove to the hospital in Turlock.
Yeah.
And I actually called Jason Bernard, who was
Came on a couple
on
weeks ago.
duty, and I said, "Hey, can you come give me a hand, get out of my truck?" So the fire engine actually came over, Jason and his crew, and they helped me out of the truck into a wheelchair and basically wheeled me into the emergency room. Yeah.
Dang.
So it was just a freak. It was a slow. It's not like a high-speed car hit me. You know?
Yeah.
I was moving slow. He was moving slow. It was just the awkward way I got hit. So mine was a freak accident, you know.
Drove 2.5 hours like that.
Yeah, he's a real man. Yeah. I'm not getting up.
I'd have been in that ambulance for sure.
I would have made him get some kind of Stokes and get me. I'm like, nope, not moving.
Fly me.
Yep.
Fly me out of here.
Lift me. Okay, so you obviously didn't ride that year in the Tahoe ride.
No, that was the very next day. So
It wouldn't have been surprising. He's like, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I was in the hospital for 5 days on that one. So
really?
mainly because I had the broken ribs, which caused bleeding in my lung cavity area. So they had to put a chest tube in me here on the left-hand side to drain that blood and those fluids out of there.
Oh,
And-
it was a little bit. You tried to pawn that off like it was just like, oh yeah, some cracked ribs. I was fine.
Well, I had what they call it a hemopneumothorax is what I basically started developing, but it was very slow onset.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they put a chest tube in me to drain that.
And that's probably why you're like, oh yeah, bicycling is really. Is that your? I'm obviously that's probably your most major interaction. But have you had other? That's just most of your, what you would call dangerous because you've had that experience.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest injuries I've had by doing it.
Yeah.
I've had a couple other close calls.
Yeah.
You know, and either close calls crashing in a group of cyclists or cars coming too close to me. You know.
Yeah.
So, but fortunately, so far I've stayed safe.
Do you have any other hobbies in retirement?
Cycling's the big one. I used to backpack a lot when I was younger, and so when I retired, I got back into that.
Okay.
And so, like anything, it's your gear. You know, there's a lot of new gear that's come out. You know, lately it's a lot lighter and you know more modern. So I've been upgrading all my gear and buying new gear and getting out there and backpacking. So yeah, between backpacking and cycling, those are two of my passions that I like doing. I like getting out in the backcountry.
What's your favorite place you've gone backpacking since you retired?
Just to the east of us, east of Arnold, is the Carson Iceberg Wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always gone there, you know, throughout my life. So that's probably because it's my backyard, what I'm familiar with. That's probably my favorite area. That and the Immigrant Wilderness. So yeah, that area I'd have to say. The Ebbetts Pass area.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Sonora Pass.
Have you watched any of those unsolved 411s? I think they're called. They might be on the Discovery Channel. Anyway, one of the Skull Creek captains had us watching this, and there's one episode specifically that's like about a lot of disappearances in like Tuolumne, Calaveras area.
Psych him out right now?
No, I've seen that. It's a thing.
And
the
the
Ebbetts Pass
noises?
area specifically.
Well,
there's a lot of.
They don't actually like give you landmarks, but
Yeah.
we had one of our her and then one of the other chiefs was like pause it and be like, see right here, this is Skull Creek.
Yeah.
And like where this happened is like, you know, on the
Right here.
screen is like 2 or 3 inches over.
Yeah.
And so then you have the videos of like the noises that were being made and it was pretty freaky. It freaked all the people out for a while that were going out to Skull. You know, I don't know what they were trying to call it, if they were trying to call it like a Bigfoot or whatever, you know, because there was a lot of disappearances happen up there and they don't even find the bodies.
Yeah.
Whether that's animals or whatever, but the noises that were being made, they like ran it through some software and it's like no animal that anybody's ever
Would be
heard
making
or
that.
whatever scary story you want to tell about being out there. So
Yeah.
you're even more of a braver person than I am because I'm not, when I'm out of school, I'm like, oh yeah,
Staying in the station at night?
staying in the station with my Starlink.
Yeah, it's a lot of the hiking I do is solo, so it is sometimes you do get a little, you know, weirded out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially when I've passed a few people, you know, that are that looked a little sketchy.
Yeah.
And I don't carry really anything with me. I carry bear spray, which they say for, bears, and maybe Cody can ring on this a little bit, but for bears and for mountain lions, they say that's almost as effective, if not more effective than a gun. Because with a gun, you gotta hit them in the right spot to stop them.
Yeah, a big enough gun
bears,
too, right?
with
For
bears.
a bear.
Yeah.
Like a big musket or something.
You have to have at least a 10 millimeter for a bear.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah, you don't want to be carrying like a 9 or a 38 or something small. You want something with some oomph to it.
Hefty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Cody, do you carry bear spray when you're out in the backcountry?
I don't.
He's got llamas.
Usually,
What are you talking about?
yeah.
But he's got an arsenal with him too, though.
Usually when we're out there, it's hunting. So I usually have my hunting rifle. And if it's in the summer, when it's not hunting season, I usually carry a sidearm.
Yeah.
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 And I carry the sidearm more for the interesting characters that are out there on the trail than I do for animals. Really, I've lucked out. I've ran into lions come face to face with them in the backcountry, but they moved on and I didn't have to. But now I have thought about it, since now bringing the pack stock is like, what if the lion wants to come in and take a llama? While we're in the tent, like, I don't know. Look into it, but I do think bear spray is probably a better option for animals because, like I said, you don't miss with bear spray. You know what I mean? It's in the
And then there's a lot of, like, I don't know, you would know more than I would, but there's a lot of regulations with killing a lion in California.
Oh yeah.
So that even to protect your stock, I think you would run into some issues.
A lot of questions. A big investigation. Like, you better be able to prove that it absolutely was attacking your livestock. You didn't just
Yeah, there's a captain that I know that he has a YouTube channel. That's what I'm trying to pull up right now, so I don't mess it up here. But anyway, they're from Nevada, so they like go around and basically do education on mountain lions and bring the hunting of the mountain lions back. I'm totally botching it right now, but I'll find it that way. Somebody else can self-educate, not me.
Predation hunts is what you're talking about, I think.
Yeah.
there's a big there was an assembly bill at the state level about mountain lions after that incident in El Dorado County where the two brothers were attacked.
yeah.
Horrible.
There's a lot of research about hazing techniques and things like that to retrain these lions to actually fear people, because it's been so many years now of them being absolutely protected that there's not a lot of consequence, right, for a lion to run across a person.
Yeah.
And so, as the population grows, they're moving more and more into populated areas and
Makes sense.
preying on not only people's pets, but now people. There's a lot more attacks happening. So they're trying to definitely change the status quo right now of, we got to do something because we're trending in the wrong direction now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the fire captain is Rowdy Houndsman, but that's just his personal one. But I know he's goes around with some kind of assembly group that they go and they try to get hunting legalized. I think there was a couple of boys. Where was the two? There was the two boys. One of them ended up
That was
passing.
what you're talking about,
Is
I
that what
think.
you're talking about?
Yeah, it was in El Dorado County.
Yeah.
Just a year ago, 2 years ago now.
They're out looking for sheds, right?
Yep. And with regulations, you can't carry a weapon during the archery season, so they just didn't bring, they didn't have a gun with them. They were out looking for shed antlers, and unfortunate.
Crazy.
Yeah.
With your cycling and your hiking, is your diet pretty strict? If I remember correctly, you kind of had a pretty strict diet.
I did,
Fire service as well.
Yeah. I started following, before I retired, this guy on social media, Bobby Parrish. He's like a celebrity chef type. And he would talk about clean eating, bad ingredients to avoid, processed oils,
Seed oils and
things like that. So I followed him, 5 years ago when he first came out. He's gotten a little more, I don't really follow him anymore. He's gotten a little more product oriented with the products he's selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so but his basic message that he put out with, what foods to avoid and seed oils and things like that. I think the basic message, I got that initially from him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with the cycling and just trying to eat clean, I try to have a clean diet.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, going back to the hiking thing, I would say the three things, I'm concerned about the most being in the backcountry would be mountain lions, probably one, and then sketchy people, number two, and then bears is number three. Bears don't really concern me at all, except if you
stumble across them
and startle them, like a mama bear with
yeah.
her cubs. That's where you get into trouble. But it's all about ultralight when you're backpacking. That's why I asked Cody. But I've thought about taking a pistol with me, sidearm with me, but it adds, a couple pounds. Then you got the ammunition too. So it's a tough decision.
You could rent a couple llamas, and then you don't have to worry about.
I know a guy actually.
Worry about weight at all.
We know a guy.
I also heard there's like a composite non-lethal pistol that they make now. I don't know much about it.
Oh,
but
interesting.
I also heard that's a lightweight option now, but I got to look more into that.
Is that non-lethal for all those things that you're talking about?
It
Or
is,
talking about
yeah.
people?
Both, but I don't know much about it, but it's just it's a composite. Maybe you know, Cody, but it obviously it makes a loud noise,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got some type of projectile, I would guess, but it's non-lethal.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, clean
less
eating.
than lethal.
Less
Than lethal.
Yeah.
Clean eating is something I try to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things with one ingredient, like chicken,
Yeah.
Whole Foods.
Right when I was in the throes of being a battalion chief, I was drinking way too much coffee. Is kind of where it started for me. The caffeine thing is kind of where it started for me, because I would, have at my fire station, I'd have a cup or two in the morning, and then when I make my rounds, I mean, the first thing you smell when you walk in the fire station is coffee, right? So
Grab a cup with.
yeah, I'd have
the
a cup,
guys.
at least one cup of coffee at every fire station I went to.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't uncommon for me to have 5, 6, 7 cups of coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was having negative effects on me. It was messing up my sleep patterns. It was giving me like that afternoon crash, And so I just quit the caffeine. That was the first thing I started doing. Got off the caffeine and got on this thing called mud water, MUDWTR, which is a like functional mushroom coffee alternative based out of Santa Monica. And so I get a can of that once a month now, and that's basically what I start off with every morning. Because I do believe in, the healing properties or the beneficial properties of those functional mushrooms and stuff that are in that type of a product. And I don't know if it's just coincidence or what, but since I started drinking that a few years ago, I have not had like even the common cold or the flu. I haven't had it. I've been real healthy. I think that's part of it.
Were you taking that on strike teams with you? I feel like I remember talking to you about that.
No, when I was going on strike teams, I was
Maybe after I got
heavy
hired.
into the coffee, and I still drink. I mean, I still drink coffee, but it's very limited. Like I have one coffee a day, and the mud water is what I start out with, and I mix it up. I make it so that it's, because I don't like it just plain the way it is. So I put some honey in there and stuff to sweeten it up and make it taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel any? I mean, besides not getting sick, are you feeling any like effects from it? Is it like give you I don't know. Does it give you the energy? Does it give you head high? What does it do?
They say it gives you more like extended energy and focus, whereas with a lot of caffeine, you'll get that
Rush.
that quick rush, and then you'll get that like that cloudiness and that
Fall
crash, that fall off, which you're constantly trying to refuel,
Yeah.
right? And so it's just a lot. It's not as spiky to me. It's just a lot more. You feel a lot more evened out.
Yeah.
With the mud water.
Okay.
Now there is an ingredient in there called turmeric, which you hear pros and cons of that ingredient. Lately, I've heard that can give you liver, some issues with your liver. But
Half this stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of that we were talking about in a past episode about like full sugar sodas versus 0-calorie sodas, and I think I think we all agreed, yeah, everything in moderation, and like some stuff. If you're gonna want to have this discussion, I think the first answer is like just don't have it.
Yeah.
But I think some of this stuff gets blown out, especially with like everybody wants to be on one side of the spectrum and the other, just like seed oils, right?
Yep.
Like that's been a huge thing, and hopefully it's dying away, but people are just like dying on that hill. You can't have any seed oils. And then you have like the other nutritionists who are coming out and being like, dude, just in moderation, everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here? Like, that's not what's making you unhealthy, that little bit of seed oil. It's
one
all
specific
the
thing.
other stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't always believe everything, especially like saying something like turmeric is causing some horrible thing. I'm like, well, how much?
I know. I mean, if you eat a ton of it, I could probably see where that's going to cause a problem. But the small amount that's in what
I think
is probably more beneficial than not. So.
I agree.
But I agree, Adam. I think moderation's the key. You know, and I'm not crazy with my diet. I mean, I'm careful. You know, I don't eat fast food. I just don't have an appetite for it. You know.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat sort of like the meals we cook at the Firehouse.
Yeah.
It's home cooked food.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not vegan, and I don't want to be vegan. You know, I like my meats and stuff like that. But I think prepared food that you cook yourself, I think is the way to go.
For sure.
And everything in moderation. But I'll still have my ice cream with my daughter, and
Yeah.
you know, when I'm out, I'll still partake in.
That's another big one too when it comes to that health and fitness space, is that people want to be so restrictive that they don't realize those social aspects. Like, I don't drink very often.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's healthy for you. I wouldn't say the alcohol portion, but having that experience. So like for your example, having the ice cream with your daughter, that's probably that health outweighs not having it, you know, just having that time with your daughter, those memories. So
For sure.
people get wrapped up in like, oh, I can't have that ice cream. It's not part of my diet. And it's like, who are you enjoying the ice cream with? Are you sitting at home alone and binging on ice cream? Yeah, probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Probably at least not a whole carton. But have you ever split a Ben and Jerry's with a loved one? It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Ben and Jerry's is pretty good.
It's definitely pretty good. So yeah, I totally am along those lines. Just everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even with alcohol, same thing for me. You know, it just, maybe it's my age. The older I've got, it just, I don't feel as good after drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, especially with exercising and stuff all the time. It just, I don't like the way it makes me feel. And it kind of gives me a
IBS.
Yeah, it tears me up a little bit, especially beer. So, but I still drink in moderation, especially in a social setting and things like that. But, yeah. And so far, you know, I used to weigh, when you first met me, I weighed like, I think 210 pounds, 215, maybe 220. And so since I've regularly cycled and watched my diet, I mean, my average weight's around 175.
Wow.
So yeah, I lost quite a bit of weight over the last 5 years.
No, you look great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movement probably is huge. Just getting out and moving.
Oh yeah. And it's all about how many calories you're taking in.
Yeah.
And then in most simplistic form, how many calories you're taking in versus how many you're burning off.
Yep.
Right?
For sure.
And that's what it's all about.
It never seemed to stop you on strike teams from hiking around and stealing.
Are you an Uncrustable guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
What are you stealing?
MREs. You just go through boxes of MREs, you know, and stuff like that. Find the good ones.
Yeah.
No, but you were very active. Like my experience with you on strike teams as a strike team leader, you were very active in putting on a pack and going and hiking and doing stuff instead of just being, you know, sitting in your car or whatever.
Yeah. I always felt there were strike team leaders that didn't do that enough.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't get out there, boots on the ground, and actually see what was going on, or maybe even work when time is appropriate with their crews. I had strike team leaders that you saw them once a day, you know, in the morning, and then you just never saw them again. It's just, I never liked that, you know. I wanted that communication. I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted that interaction, you know, as a captain. And so when I became a strike team leader, I kind of made a conscious effort to do that. you know. And I concentrated on the captains just because you can't interact with 22 people, you just can't.
Yeah.
So with the rank system that we have, it made it easy. I interacted with the captains,
Yeah.
and hopefully that information, trickled down to the firefighters. But yeah, I like to get out there and see the country where we're working. And when it was appropriate, there was other times where it was appropriate to be in the car driving around, getting the lay of the land. But when the time was right, I like to get out there. And being, I also wanted to be fit because I saw a lot of strike team leaders that were not fit, that they couldn't even really get out there and do that,
Yeah.
which I always thought was, a safety issue for one, but also kind of hazardous if you're not able to do that, because at times you might have to,
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
So, there's a fitness standard for a reason, and so I tried to keep fitness, off duty, but also be fit for when I was on duty,
Well, yeah, and it's also hard to motivate somebody if you are a heavier person that is also not fit at all. Because I've seen some guys that are like, "Can that guy do the job?" And then you watch them and like they can put work in.
Oh yeah.
But then you see the other guys too that are heavy and they're not doing anything all day. And like, how can you be as a supervisor? How are you the motivator? How are you gonna tell me
Yep.
that I'm doing poorly?
Yeah.
My experience with that too was it wasn't just strike teams. I saw you in turnouts and with a pack on stuff around the city as well.
Yeah.
You came mutual aid. You guys came mutual aid one time to one of our fires, and then I snapped a photo of you pulling debris out of something with your pack on, right with the guys. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it more than I have, but it seemed like something that you did pretty often, was trying to still be engaged with the guys on that level when it was appropriate.
Yeah.
Either that or park right up on the front lawn so you can get a good video of the structure fires. One of the two.
I had a reputation of parking wherever I wanted to. Parked in some pretty unique places. Definitely off road. But yeah, there's definitely a balance there, as a battalion chief, because there's, like I said, there's a time when you shouldn't be doing that, but when the time's appropriate, I think it's good to do that, And I just like that I still, when I promoted from captain to battalion chief, it was pretty hard for me to set down that axe and pick up that mic. That was a hard transition for me because I'm so work focused.
Yeah.
Now that being said, battalion chief ended up being my favorite position.
Really?
Yeah, my favorite rank that I worked.
How long were you battalion?
10 years.
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you learn that from, did you have battalions throughout your career that you picked that up and you saw the opposite as well? And you were like, okay, I like this better, and this is more my style. You kind of learned from that, or was that just something you did and it just came natural?
Yeah, I mean, I spent about 10 years in each rank is the way it worked out. When I started getting interested in battalion chief, I sort of looked and learned from all the battalion chiefs that I work with locally.
Mm-hmm.
And then my experience with CAL FIRE and working around CAL FIRE and Forest Service also probably had an influence on me. And then when I really started, in Turlock, we had relief battalion chiefs. So you were a captain that was qualified to work at a grade, and that's how we covered shifts when the battalion chiefs were off.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what really got me focused and interested in making that transition from captain to battalion chief, was kind of dipping my feet in the water and getting some experience being a relief. And not all departments have that, which, I'm glad that we did, because that was a great experience for me.
Yeah.
So by doing the relief battalion chief thing, I really got an interest in it, and that's what really wanted me to do it full time.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, I started looking at how different battalion chiefs, through social media and YouTube and things like that, how different battalion chiefs operate, And at the time here, we didn't have really a good set standard operating procedures like we do now. So we were kind of developing, as a department at that time. And so one of the guys I followed a lot was a guy named Mike Alder from San Bernardino City Fire.
He had a pretty big YouTube
He did.
presence from what I
It's
remember.
called Inside the Command Post. And so he'd have a dash cam and video his communications and what he's seeing on his front windshield, when he's working fires down San Bernardino. So I started following him, and a lot of my initial style or approach to the job was based on kind of what he did with his crews. Yeah.
Do you guys have dash cams in your rig that are personal, or?
Well, I used to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all personal.
Do you have it?
He had a couple headbeds
Yep.
notch in there perfectly cut
Yeah.
out for his phone.
Yeah, I started off with, a little handy cam,
Yeah.
and then I transitioned just using my iPhone.
Okay. Did you end up starting your own little mentorship page? Like, did you? No.
No, I didn't. No, I used the videos. It was to personally look back on the moments, but also for training. So we would, as part of our after action review or critique after the fire, we would have that dash cam, which was great because it's real time. Mm-hmm. It's a lot better than pulling dispatch tapes because that's just one transmission after the other, and there's no real time frame to it that you can.
Yeah. What was going on at this exact time when these words were
So
said?
with that dash cam, it was real time.
Yep.
And to me, it was a great training tool.
Yeah.
And we would use that. We would watch that at the beginning of the critique and use that as a tool. So yeah, I enjoyed having those videos.
No, those after actions really help. I mean, yeah, because we'll pull tape for the battalion chiefs for their.
Yeah.
Because we have so many brand new operators, and we'll pull tape. We have our own opinions in the command center when we know when something's being like ran correctly, and when other things are like, how do we articulate this on the radio to let him know that he's not doing a great job, and there's some stuff that he should be doing, because we hear it enough. But yeah, the best way is to pull those tapes. So I would assume the way you're talking would be even better to like visually see it.
For sure.
So
Yeah. And I would position the vehicle.
yeah, you're good.
That's where those
man.
interesting park jobs came from.
I was like, Cody definitely saw some stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of curbs and
Lots of
things
curbs.
like that.
Yeah. And school campuses, I especially remember like driving through the school campuses, like over the lawns and stuff. Because I would stay in the vehicle most of the time. And so I positioned my windshield to have the best view of the scene. Yeah.
What you just said for me is the best, especially with a complex fire, whether it be a structure fire or a wildland fire. Those operators, yes, you need to work. Like, it's not for the operators I've seen, not the BCs. You need to work. But if it's a complex fire and we have a bunch of resources come in, somebody needs to stay on the mobile. Yeah. Because those HTs, nobody can hear anything. Any of your incoming, the command center. I mean, we're hitting repeat like on our radios to like rehear the transmission.
Yep.
Somebody needs to take charge and stay with those mobiles, because you're the communication officer that's telling everybody what they're coming into, what position that they need to go into, and then letting your dispatch center or command center, depending on who you're working for, know what other resources you need. And I need to be clear so that there's no mistakes and I'm not filling in the blanks there. And our younger crowd thinks that they're just going to run around the structure with their HT and scream into it, and we can't hear anything but static. And I'm like, that's not command and control. You're not commanding or controlling anything.
Yep.
So I like that style a lot. Nope. Like, I'm staying in the rig. This is where it's, and then maybe later on you can get out and start doing your own thing, I guess.
Yep. And the rigs have, in Cal Fire and in municipal here, we have the back setup, where you could open up the back, either on the pickup.
Command center out of the back of it.
Yeah, we have that now, which, that's the style they encourage, now. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we've kind of transitioned styles over the years, but that's the style they transition now. But you're still on the mobile radios at that point.
Correct. So you got a couple.
Yeah, you have you're not on an HT where you don't have good coverage.
Everybody has their style. For me, if I was in a rig, I would have the HT specifically on, the mobile would be for the command center, right?
Yep.
I'm trying to get out.
Yep.
But the HT, I'll just have that for air.
Yep.
Because they can hear everything. It doesn't even matter.
Yep.
And then maybe I can use that for tax too, but I would just do my tax and everything right out of the mobile. I haven't been on an engine in over a year, so I'm kind of talking out my butt right now.
I wasn't going to say anything, man.
But I could tell he was going to tell me to spell something.
I wasn't
going to either tell me to spell something, or he's going to be like, you haven't even been on an engine.
I do remember you ICing an extrication call we had from the top of Squad 32. Do you remember that?
I remember that, yeah.
We were
on Canal.
There was a ton, on Canal, tons of traffic.
He was in orchestra.
And there was a an old, like classic hot rod vehicle that hit a tree, and I don't know, the traffic was crazy. You couldn't get very close. I remember you coming up, and then I look over, and he is at the top of the ladder. You know, we have the ladder that goes up the back of the squad. He's sitting at the top of the ladder, like, which hindsight, I'm like, you know,
great view,
pretty good view of the entire scene and what's going on. But he's just up there, icy in the fire. It's like we had our own little version of air tack up there, you know, overhead, calling the shots.
Yeah.
And those moments, like, how did you? Was that your first time doing something like that? Like, where you got on top of the rig?
Yeah, I very rarely did that. I was
just curious, like, what would, like, what's your thought process? What's your thought process to?
There was such a chaotic scene, and there was so much traffic. I could not get close, you know.
Yeah.
And I forget the details of the call, but it was a very technical extrication that was going on.
Yeah.
And we had some serious injuries that we were dealing with. So I wanted an
Aerial
elevated position where I could actually see what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just came to you. See, that's just
So I saw the squad there. I'm like, I'll just climb up on the roof of the squad and up on the back of the squad. Yeah.
It was easy. You had a nice ladder on the squad, made it
They're beautiful ladders.
easier to get up there than a normal rig. So
Darn that Mallory, you know, him and his designs. But yeah, so for me, most of the time I would stay in the vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's just how my brain worked and functioned. I could close out those outside distractions inside my vehicle.
yeah,
And I actually did that a couple times. I actually rolled the window up on people right in midstream as they were talking to me, you know, because I just had other things to do and to concentrate on. So I like that isolation that you had inside that vehicle.
Yeah.
Plus you're out of the weather and you know what I mean? I could concentrate best inside the vehicle. And I had all my radios and stuff there. So most of the time that's where I operated from.
Yeah, smart. Genius.
that is. You brought up, you said it earlier, but like mentorship.
Yeah.
Looking back now that you're retired, like, do you feel like you had a strong mentorship process with people? Like you had some people that really looked up to you, or you guided through some promotionals or anything like that, or?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, you know. If one of the concepts that I tried to follow when I promoted was, if you're not willing to do that hard job, like to do discipline and coaching, counseling, discipline, if you're not willing to do that, then don't promote. So I think that's a key part of promoting. And with that comes, you're gonna create some division, right? So you're gonna get people that are okay with that, and then you're gonna get people that resent you for that, you know. And so, and that's never a good feeling. In fact, I've got more scars from, you know, personal relationships or having to be a leader, you know. And I probably have more emotional scars from that than physical scars from the job, you know,
Yeah.
as a leader. But to me, that just comes with it. And just the different classes and stuff I took, the leadership lessons and things that I was exposed to over the years, it was always imprinted in my brain that, you know, you have to be willing to do that with people, you know, if you're going to step into that position. And if you don't, then just don't do it. You know, don't promote. So with that, you get some division, you know. You get people that appreciate you for that, and then you get people that resent you for that, you know. And that's, like I said, that's never a good feeling because you want to get along with everybody.
Yeah.
But to me, it just comes with the territory of taking that leadership role, you know. But I felt like I had some really good mentors, you know, as I promoted up, different fire chiefs. And then, you know, people from outside the department as well. But when we went to MST, so when we did the administrative contract with Modesto Fire, you know, I got to work with, you know, closely with a bunch of great leaders, you know, on a more expanded level, and people that I otherwise would have not had the opportunity to work with. So towards the end of my career there, I got a really good exposure and really good mentorship and, you know, a really good firsthand look at what real good leaders look like, you know. And so with that, you know, I've tried to, as I got some experience, I tried to pass that down when people, and it's mostly people approach, you know, asking for help. I didn't necessarily go out there seeking that, but people would come to me for mentorship,
Yeah.
and to help them maybe prepare for promotionals and things like that. So
Yeah.
I did. I ended up doing quite a bit of that. In fact, it was pretty much a constant thing that I did there towards the last few years. There was always some employee that was looking for help with promotionals and making it to that next position.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't really remember hardly a time where I wasn't helping somebody out, with some position.
Yeah.
Since when I promoted, to battalion chief all the way up to division chief.
Yeah.
Towards the end of my career there. Yeah. And I enjoyed that. In fact, even in retirement, I've come in. I haven't come back to the firehouse very often. I think I've been there twice in a year and a half. And I thought I would come back more, but I'm so busy. And it's not that I don't want to come back and that I don't enjoy that, but, I've only been there twice.
Yeah.
And one of those times was to help one of the captains prepare for a battalion chief's promotional.
Yeah.
Spent the whole day there. So yeah, I've done quite a bit of that and enjoy it,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've been through all those positions. Right, I was battalion chief for 10 years, division chief, I think, for a little over 3 years. And so I saw some stuff that you just wouldn't see, riding on the engine. And so to share some of those lessons and experiences with people that are looking at that, it's fun to do,
Yeah.
So I enjoy that. And I appreciate anybody that's, like you are, Adam, promoting up through the ranks and taking those chances and putting themselves out there. It's not easy to do, but the fire service needs it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love being on a fire engine. I thought I'd retire as a captain, because I just loved that, camaraderie, that being at the firehouse, that running calls all day long.
Yeah.
The hands-on work, just that whole atmosphere, that family unit, when you're on duty. And so you can get very comfortable in that, and a lot of people do, and that's fine. But one of the key lessons I took out of promoting and getting that exposure was the fire service needs that.
Mm-hmm.
We need good people to step up into these leadership positions because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
What goes on at fire admin is it keeps the rolling stock going. It keeps the employees in the seat, and it takes a lot of work to do that, and finesse and political savvy and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so these people that are doing that, I'll just throw a couple names out there real quick, but Tim Lohman, fire chief, he did a lot of things behind the scene to keep the wheels rolling. And in MST with when Chief Chris Jelnick was there at Turlock,
Yep.
he had a whole complicated plan because Turlock staffing was terrible back then when he got in. And so he had this whole staffing plan that took, 2-3 years to implement. And it was like a chess game, on the board. And he had to deal with all sorts of, political positions and, budgetary and things like that. But he took the department from being understaffed to being fully staffed in 3 years, and, behind the scenes when you're sitting at those meetings and you see that all going on, it really makes you realize how important those positions are and for good people to promote into those positions.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was glad I did it and glad I had the opportunity to do it. When I promoted to division chief, they had unfrozen that position at the time. And so I felt this obligation for those reasons, to jump into that and try it out, but also to create a pathway for other employees to come up,
Yeah.
To start that off again, so other people would have that opportunity, in the future.
Yeah.
So I always kind of felt obligated in a way to do that, to create those opportunities for other people as well.
Yeah.
And the bump in retirement was nice too, but that,
Of course.
believe me, that wasn't my main motivator.
Yeah.
Because it's going to the 8 to 5. It's tough. It's a tough schedule too.
Yeah. To switch to that.
Yeah, it's tough.
Is there
bet.
is there something that unexpectedly that you gained out of this career path? Like, is there anything that jumps out at you that's like, I was not expecting to whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah, I mean, I guess going back to what I just said, I was never expecting to promote off the fire engine, you know?
Yeah.
So an unexpected opportunity or experience for me would be the admin, you know, getting exposure to the administrative side of things.
Being on that side of it.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did. I mean, it was an eye opener.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Just like you said, everybody needs it. I think part of why I was like, when I started with the department, I didn't, an unexpected thing was how much traveling.
You got to see a lot of state.
And not just the state, just remote areas that
Yeah.
no one's either ever heard of or ever been to.
Yep.
I think that was like a side effect of the career path that I chose, that I was
For
just like,
sure.
remember Bloodsucker Lake?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder what they're calling that. Maybe all the leeches in there.
Yeah, I remember.
But places like that was just like, oh my gosh, there's been like such a small percentage of the entire world have ever been here.
Yeah.
You know, we put a dozer pushed line for the engines to drive back there.
Yeah.
But that was like an unexpected thing that I have so far, and I still have 23 more years till I can retire.
Yeah.
You had something, Cody?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, when I came into the department, I got to witness, you know, Battalion Chief Becker and Division Chief Becker, and
Yeah.
definitely the mentorship he did at that level. But one of my favorite stories from around the firehouse that predates my time of arrival was back in the 2.0 engine company days, and Captain Becker was coming in second due or third due to a fire, and the first due rig shows up, gives a size up, and the engineer asks the captain at the time, "You want to pull a line to the door?" And the response was, "Bill really likes to go interior. He's on his way. We'll let him do it."
Yeah.
So that legend, that story still lives on. We still hear that, and now I've shared it around the station myself. And maybe I'm botching I don't have all the exact details.
Yeah.
Some of the older guys do, but I just thought that was you know, I think through your career, I know that the captains I had when I was a firefighter looked up to, you know, his example as a captain, and then I know, like I said, talking about mentorship and preparing and stuff, we had a lot of talks in the BC office at you know, annual evaluation time of preparing for those next steps and what that looks like. So
Yeah.
I did move up through the ranks, you know, fairly quickly, and then part of that was you know, his encouragement.
You came up on a shift, right?
Yeah. I started on C shift with Lunsford, and then like a year after I got hired, there was a big mix-up, and they shuffled the deck, and so then I've spent quite a few years on the new C shift with Chief Becker. Yep.
I forgot Gary was on C shift. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been.
You were the A shift battalion when I got hired.
I've only known you as the C shift battalion.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun story. You got any other stuff you want to throw at us?
Oh man.
Any good
No, I put you on the spot, and I kind of hate doing that. But like, if you have some stories, I know that was like a big thing. People love hearing other people's memorable stories. Take a second, all day.
Yeah, it's funny. Maybe I have a bad long-term memory because you go on so many fires and there's so many experiences you have, and I'm just one of those guys that I don't have clarity of each memory of that, you know. It sort of all gets mixed up in my head.
Yeah.
And so there's guys like Cody and
Remembers everything.
yeah, there's other guys in the fire department that they'll talk about stories, and I remember them, but it's hard for me to take one right now in context and share it. But I'll think of something. Here in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just everybody has like even not even call wise, just like a memorable like prank in the firehouse, or you know.
We don't have to talk about it. I was told to ask you before the podcast, and I forgot to.
Yeah.
Your favorite steak story from the station?
I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't talk about
We'll talk about that after.
What about Chief? Now he's Chief Hackett, bringing you your coffee.
Oh, I've heard this one too.
Yeah.
Do they need to tell it?
Well, it's funny because Chad's a battalion chief now, but when he first started, he wasn't too sure about a few things. So I guess I was in the shower one morning, and I was a captain, I guess. And he was a new firefighter, and the crew was telling him, I like my hot coffee delivered to me in the shower.
Oh yeah.
So, and there was a few it was single shower stalls in there, but usually when a guy went in there, nobody else really came in.
Yeah.
They just we didn't have like a double house, so there was enough time where you could have your privacy in the shower, So I'm in there doing my thing, and pretty quick, Chad walks in to the bathroom, and I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, And we had the glass doors in the shower stalls, so you could kind of see what's going on inside there.
Where was this at?
The old Station 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So he walks in, and the shower stalls came up to about this high, right? He goes, Chief Becker, I'm here with your hot coffee. And I'm like, all right. So I just thought it was the strangest thing. Like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
So I just reached over and took the coffee. It was like having a cold beer in the shower. So he handed me a coffee inside the shower. Yeah. Cody,
Cockrell loves telling that story still, and so does Hackett. I've heard it. I just heard it the other day.
Yeah.
Hackett was actually telling somebody, he's like, yeah, they got me pretty good. I was on probation, and they're like, oh, Becker really likes his coffee in the shower. You got to take it to him. And he's like, so I just walked in there. Here you go, Chief. Or here you go, Cap.
Yeah. Like I said, I was a coffee fiend there for years.
Yeah.
I worked with Casey Cockrell for a lot of years. He was the engineer. I was captain. And I never had, a coffee cup like this. I just always had a ceramic coffee cup inside the fire engine.
Yeah.
Opened, as we were driving down the road. And I always told Casey, don't spill my coffee, dude. Whatever you do, don't spill my coffee. So he'd always laugh at that.
Were you the one who'd put it on the dashboard and tell the new engineers, don't spill my coffee?
No, I would hold it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the story I heard. I can't remember. Rossiter's told me.
These stories will just get exaggerated and exaggerated.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty soon it's going to be that you demanded that the new firefighter bring that coffee to you.
Just so you could yell at him when he walked in the bathroom.
They're like, I don't know the names of any of these people, but I heard the story about this captain that made the probie always bring the coffee in. That's how the story is going to end up evolving. But now it's on record, so.
I had some interesting things happen, though. I mean, as a battalion chief, probably one of the more interesting things I saw was, like I said, I used to run the fires from the driver's seat, so I positioned the vehicle facing the fire. And we had a fire in a single-story house one night. And it was cooking pretty good. And I pulled up right to the front lawn. And the guys are starting to do their thing. And the next thing I know, and it's at nighttime, so my headlights are shining across the lawn. And the next thing I see is a lady. She was from the streets,
Lady of the night.
She's more of a tweaker style. And she was standing in front of my vehicle in the headlights. 10 feet in front of my car.
Yeah.
Plain as day. And she just completely pulled her pants down to her ankles, her sweatpants. And all the guys were working, so nobody saw this except for me. She pulled her pants down, and it was full frontal. It was, what is going on here? She walks up to my passenger side window, which was closed.
Still
she's
pants
talking.
down?
Yes, I think still pants down. And she's talking. I'm like, well, and I was in the middle of talking on the radio. I'm like, well, I got to hear this, so roll the window down. She's saying, I don't do crazy. I don't do crazy. But she's trying to tell me. I looked at her and said, hey, you look pretty crazy to me right now. Rolled the window back up. Yeah, that was, and I have that on dash cam.
You got that one on dash cam. Nice.
I don't know where it's at, but it's,
I don't think we could put that one on
think
Instagram.
YouTube or Instagram will allow us to put that.
No.
But we'll just have to use our imaginations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's, and then the funny part about it was I asked at the end of the fire, did you guys see what happened? Nobody else saw it except
Just
for me.
you.
Yeah, so it's one of those weird moments you have just by yourself,
Do you have any funny Casey stories? Oh man. Because he's been telling me he listens, so this is your chance.
He's just, no, not really funny. Casey's a funny guy. We had a good time working together. He's just, he's the worst DMT that I've ever worked with. Absolutely horrible. absolutely horrible. Does not know what he's doing. Yeah.
All right, I could see it.
Yeah. So he usually, you know how the captain usually stands back on EMS calls? Now that when he's usually one that stood back.
As soon as he got hired, he was the guy standing back.
Yeah. Why don't you take notes, Case? Yeah, it's better. It's better if you're not hands on here.
He's good at assuming that role still, though. They just walked in, backed us up on a CPR in progress call. It's like, hey, there's the family over there. You mind going and getting a history and get some information for us? He's like, I got it.
He did that as an engineer, though. You know?
Yeah, he's probably really good at it now.
Yeah. I don't know how he stays licensed, but he's horrible. It's horrible.
That's great. That's awesome.
People like me that are signing him off on his skills.
Yeah, no
Just
joke.
to get him out of the room, just being like, okay, I'll just sign you. Like, you're not actually ever by yourself doing this, right?
Yeah, Casey, he was a great partner.
Yeah.
You know, just has that dry sense of humor and a lot of practical sense. You know, a lot of common sense, and just a great outlook on the job. You know, of course, I joke about his EMT, but you know, going to EMS calls, we would always complain. You know, it's kind of some of the fun we'd have
Yeah.
about patients faking it, stuff like that. You know, but at the end of the day, when real work needed to happen, he was there. You know, I think he even worked ambulance a little bit, maybe. But just great overall, you know, attitude in the firehouse, and then just a great firefighter. I mean, that guy, you know, he can get in there and he can fight fire, and I've seen him do it. You know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I really enjoyed working with him for that 10 years.
Nice.
Good partner.
You got to get him on here.
Glad someone enjoys working with him.
I saw one other thing. Adam passed me some notes and stuff like that, just so we had little topics. Are you a big like looking into the risks of firefighting and like exposures and?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing how many, you know, knowing people that have got cancer and passed away from it and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely I think it's definitely something we should think about, you know, and protect ourselves as much as possible. One of the biggest improvements that I saw in my career was the exhaust extraction tubes that they have in the firehouse now. And you and we've all talked about this, but you know, when they put those in, there was a noticeable difference to me. You know, it went from that stale, like diesel smoke all throughout the firehouse, even in the quarters, you know, to smelling clean and fresh again, you know. So I think getting rid of that diesel smoke exposure is probably one of the best things that I saw happen in my career.
Yeah.
Because they say it has a lingering effect of 24 hours. So if you start an engine inside a firehouse, which most of our firehouses have connected apparatus bays right to the living quarters, that lingering smoke stays in there for 24 hours, or particulates, you know. And so we had those systems were pretty problematic when they first put them in. They were always breaking down. And so there were some things they did wrong when they first installed them, and I forget exactly what that was, but the company came back and did a major reinstall, basically, major overhaul of what they did. And then after that, there were small things that happened, but they're pretty reliable after that. But it always used to kind of chap my hide a little bit when I'd come into a firehouse and with a perfectly good working system and the guys weren't connecting it. You know, it's like, these systems are here for, you know, our safety and health. And
Yeah.
we got to use these, you know.
For sure.
I mean, have the firefighter plug them in as they're coming in before they enter, you know, and make sure they're connected, you know, when you start the rig. But I was even a proponent of hooking them up as you're pulling in, you know. You know, some guys would drift in and then hook it up afterwards, and they may still do that. But I'm a real proponent of hooking those up as they're coming in, you know, and just taking every effort you can to keep that exhaust out of the fire station.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of my first, I was on my forethought, you know, my first real thing that I was a proponent of.
Yeah.
And now with the clean cab concept, that all sort of came as I was coming out, but I'm a big proponent of that. And I see an advantage of putting an SCBA on as you're en route, you know. a timing advantage. But I think, like anything in the fire service, I think you can overcome that, because there is a couple minutes there in the beginning of any fire where you have.
Yeah. Oh, all the B rides, they're all on the outside.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you just adapt. So like I'm not used to, or was not used to, before you call me out, throwing a BA on while riding. I did that when I was volunteering, but when I was on the B rides, I'm used to setting the brake, turning on the pump, and then I'm going to do my walk around. And as I'm doing my walk around, I'm throwing my BA on, everything but the mask, and then I'll come back, and either the firefighter can charge the line or whatever, because we run it. It wasn't traditional.
Yeah.
One operator, 2 firefighters. So I'm used to it. I think you just adapt and overcome. So it's kind of nice with the clean cab of that not being in there.
Yeah.
I think everybody's gonna hate it at first.
Yep.
Give it some time and get some practice and some reps, and there probably won't be much of a difference.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, any way we can reduce our exposure like that, I'm a proponent of. The thing that, I look at the fire service now sort of from the outside now, and as a strike team leader, I did that for 10 years. And I think I went on 24 major fires as a strike team leader over those years. And a lot of those fires we were socked in, for weeks,
Yeah.
a couple weeks. Several of fires, even when you're in camp, you couldn't really fully escape the smoke, And a lot of that smoke, like, Cody was on the campfire. One example. What was the fire down in Ventura that happened?
Thomas?
The Thomas fire, yeah. That was another example of where there's thousands of houses burning, And so...
Yeah, it's not just wood and grass and brush. It's treated lumber and...
Yeah, and there's no protection for the wildland firefighters, I mean, there's some devices, filter devices and stuff that have come out, but not too many people are using them. And so the exposure to me in California, the biggest exposure for firefighters is on those wildland fires like that. Mm-hmm. When you're in there, just in that smoke for days at a time. And as a strike team leader, that started to really concern me after a while. In fact, Cody asked, "You going to come back and be a strike team leader in retirement?" And I said, "No." I said, "My first instinct is drive away from the smoke now. I just don't want to expose myself anymore."
Yeah.
But I don't know what we can do about that. That's a huge problem going into the future.
Yeah, they've come out with all kinds of different things, and then they come into favor and then they leave. And like they had those, I forget what they're called exactly, but they had like basically dude wipes. You clean your neck. They disposable hoods because of the when you go through a structure fire. Like every time you come out, you throw your hood into a hazmat, and it gets thrown away. I mean, but those are all costs. And when fire departments are doing low bid for everything, nobody's doing that. You're getting these hoods and put it through the extractor, and maybe you get 2 sets. But everything's low bid unless you work for a larger department that's like, yep, we have all these hoods, they're all disposable. So now you can just swap them out every time, reduce the risk to your neck and whatever else they have going on. But yeah, cost is what everything comes down to. We can make firefighting even safer. And I'm not the science guy to tell you all the safe things, but I know we can do it.
Yeah.
If Elon Musk is catching rockets with chopsticks, I'm pretty sure we can make firefighting a little bit safer. It just comes down to money and how, same with the military, right? Like how much money are you willing to outfit a single individual to make them safe?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, the extractors, I think every firehouse has an extractor now. So the culture now is to clean your gear after each fire. And I think that's good. And that's a step in the right direction. And there's proactive things that we can do to really make a difference. But the hard one is that wildland fire, exposure. And those firefighters are going to be at more risk, I think, to exposure than a lot of the municipal firefighters because of that.
Yeah.
But that's a tough one to deal with.
Yeah. Yep. Because you're just out there for weeks. Structure fire there for an hour.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
that stuff, you're out for weeks, and what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you just, when you're in base,
You can't wear your BA for 2 weeks,
you're not wearing your BA at all.
Exactly.
And I was going to say, I mean, I can think, I don't know what the fix is there, but definitely personal experiences. Like we talked about in the past, we talked about the Butte fire and cutting our way out of that road, that Jesus Maria road that day. Somebody's like, "Man, are your eyes burning?" Like we were just,
the headaches.
Yeah, and then I was like, "They are." And somebody grabbed their 4-gas detector out of their compartment, turned it on.
Oh boy!
CO alarm immediately just I'm like,
I'm sure.
and it was high. A couple hundred, like somewhere around 100 to 200 parts per million. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, if I had service right now, I'd be looking up how long can we be in this without, effects.
Yeah.
And then, you talked about the campfire, but I remember that first night. We got there like on the first day, midday, and the sun was blacked out from the smoke. Like it looked like it was midnight, and it was like 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And that night, I just had the worst splitting headache.
Yeah.
Migraine level headache, to the point where Bernard let me. He's like, just like go lay down in the back of the rig. It was like 3:00 in the morning. But we talked about it afterward, and it was like any one of these 15,000 structures, whatever it was, that just burned down, we would have had our pack on. But because I don't know, but you're only going to be in it and exposed to it for so long. That was days of just sitting in that smoke.
Yep.
So you don't have enough air bottles to live in a pack for days at a time.
And that's just talking about the structure side. I don't know what the ramifications are of the wildland, because when I've done a mobile attack for hours and hours and hours, and you have your shield over, which then makes it, you're basically getting waterboarded the entire time. So at that point you pull it down because you're like, okay, the sweat has now mixed in with this Nomex, and it's literally sucking to your mouth when you're trying to breathe. So you pull it down, and then it's just, I still would get the splitting headaches. It had nothing to do, and it was all clean. There was no structures involved with
Just grass,
and
or whatever.
And then you'd have a headache for multiple days afterwards. And then on top of that, you shower, right? You shower multiple times, and then you come home multiple days later.
Yeah.
Haven't been on a fire in multiple days, and I come home and my wife's like, "Oh, you smell like campfire." I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." Like, so what are you bringing home too?
Yeah, for sure.
As clean as you are, you're bringing that stuff, home. And I feel a little bit better that it's days later, and I've showered multiple times and all this stuff. But like,
Still,
there's got to be something there, right?
Yep.
I mean, but that is the job we signed up for. I'm not complaining that this job's too unsafe. Like, I get it. But there is ways to make it safer. But the structure portion in a wildland, that is crazy how we just like,
I know.
no BA bottle.
you just count it as a wildland fire.
Yep.
More than two structures on fire, you don't need a BA.
Yeah.
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 If they're all on fire and you're not going interior, you don't need a BA.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that one's, we can deal with some of these tangible ones, like, and like having extractors, having, exhaust tubes, all that stuff. I mean, we can reduce exposure for sure. But that one there is I don't know what the answer is to that.
I have a funny story before we're all wrapped up. So, it was the Waverly, that was in 2018.
18.
We had and I didn't witness it, I'm just regurgitating the story here, but we had a firefighter that, I think that went 11,000 acres or something like that in a matter of like whatever amount of hours. So we had a brand new seasonal firefighter, and he wanted to put a BA on and they were like, no, you can't put a BA on. They're like, well, I'm not going out there. So he quit in the rig right then and there. I mean, they mobiled, that firefighter stayed in the rig.
Wow.
And they waited for the unit chief to come in, pick him up, because he has now resigned.
And take them home.
But refused. And to be fair, some of these guys don't know what they're signing up for. I mean, they're watching. We're supposed to do it where we watch a couple of these fire
Chicago
episodes.
Fire.
But they're watching these and thinking like, oh, I want to do that. And then that's a good example of somebody who didn't know what they were getting into. I mean, they went through the whole process, had all the certs. But then when they actually see a legit fire, not 20 by 20, not a quarter acre, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, no, I got to wear a BA. And I'm like, when in any of your training have you wore a BA during a wildland fire? And then same thing with now that all these hand crews are firefighter hand crews. They signed up for this, and then first PT hike of the season, I mean, they're falling, they're just quitting.
Yeah.
Because they were like, whoa, where are the lazy boys at? We just get to sit down all day and watch TV. Like people don't know what they're signing up for anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a real bummer. So, and if they don't know what they're signing up for, then they don't know how to protect themselves from those exposures and like
Yeah.
For sure.
what's going on there. So
I mean, California's it's a great place to have a fire career, right?
Yeah.
And to get started in a fire career because you've got the Forest Service, you've got the Cal Fire,
A lot of
you know, where
options.
you can figure that stuff out, early
Yeah.
on. And when I'm talking to young people looking to get in the fire service, which I'm talking to a couple right now, one of them's my brother-in-law's kid. He's thinking of doing it. But the first thing I tell them is get that seasonal job. First of all, it's going to get you a lot of exposure, to what the fire service is all about. And, it's a great experience. You're going to see places you would never otherwise see.
Yep.
You're going to travel. And as you move forward in your career, they're very, very highly sought after, for municipal departments. So California is, for that reason, it's a great place to get started in the fire service. Very unique.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, at least we have that opportunity where people can get their feet wet and figure out what this job's about.
Big time.
So I think that's a good thing in the state.
Yeah. And there's a lot of benefits for you and your family with depending on obviously the department you go to, but a lot of benefits that people don't realize, besides the cool t-shirt and you can get it's a license plate cover or something. But other than that,
Stickers.
the stickers. Yeah. If you like stickers, fire service is the way to go.
Yeah. Are we getting close to the end here?
Whenever. We can keep going.
You can go for whenever.
Oh, yeah.
You're retired, so you can
Yeah, you
just
got
do
nothing but
whatever.
time.
But it is close to lunchtime.
I'll talk all day.
I've heard. That's what people say about you sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I got to it's like an old motor. It takes me a while to get started. But once you get me started,
Yeah.
This is the question that Adam's been bringing up lately. Is there something you'd like to, if they came on, you'd be
Suggest come
super
on?
interested in listening to?
So I'm good friends with Tim Teachin, who's the retired assistant chief from Modesto Fire.
Yeah.
And, I thought he'd be a good one to have on.
Yeah.
In fact, I mentioned it to him already, and so he seemed interested.
Yeah. Well, he'll listen to yours, and then you can let him know.
So right off the top of my head, he'd be a good one.
We'd be very interested in having him.
Yeah. So just a lot of experience, a lot of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And he's worked in a lot of different capacities, and he's just got a lot of information and probably good stories to share, So right off the top of my head, Tim Teachin. Yeah.
Okay.
And he just retired
Oh,
Real recent.
real
we
recent.
love
Yeah.
the retired guys because they're
They'll say it.
they'll say whatever they need to say.
No, it's been good. Retirement's great. Like I said, benefits. I'm real thankful for like Turlock's retiree health,
Yeah.
trust that we have. I'm
Yeah.
fully vested in that. So we're very well taken care of in retirement. And so I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, it's all about balance, throughout my career. And even now, it's easy. This is an easy job to put too much focus onto.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, he has a line for this.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
my,
Hey, this is
my,
your
my
opportunity,
slogan.
bud.
All right, here we go. Yeah. So the movie quote is skating is what we do. It's not who we are. So for me, fire is what we do, but it's not who we are.
Right.
But the bigger goal or the bigger theme of, and this is a Disney movie, best Disney movie ever made. But basically his dad tells him this line because his dad was a construction worker all his life. And that's how he introduced himself. I'm so-and-so, I'm a construction project manager. And he suffers an injury at work and he can't do that anymore. So it was like an identity thing for him of, what am I if I'm not that? And so, I don't know. It's just something that I somehow geeked out or nerded out laying in bed at night and felt like, you see that in the fire service too, right?
Yeah.
Somebody suffers an injury and it's kind of like, if that is your identity, that's got to be tough to deal with, of one wrong step off the rig at a call or something like walking down a slightly sloped ramp on an EMS call blow out an ACL.
It was a structure fire, and it was a steeper ramp than you think. All right?
I thought it was an EMS.
No, it was a structure fire. And I blew out a meniscus, not an
Anyway.
ACL.
No,
Yeah, something like that, or you know,
That's what I work with right here.
yeah.
get an injury that takes you off the job. It's like you gotta have some hobbies. You gotta have something else other than. It's great to dedicate yourself to a career, but one day that career is gonna end.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think there's also, I mean, when your career ends, like right now, you're still our mentor. You've been to the station a couple of times.
Yeah.
But at some point, nobody remembers you anymore. I mean, unless you have a building named after you because you died in the line of duty, like no one remembers you. So like, who's gonna remember you? That's gonna be your daughter and those memories that you have. So people get so absorbed into this career, and that's great, and you should be great at your job. But when you come home, it should just that your identity crisis shouldn't be that I'm a fireman.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's I feel like people get wrapped up in that, and when you're younger, it's probably cool to say.
Yeah.
And not that it's not cool to say now, but like I like to go camping. Like that's my hobby. That's what I like to do. Or I like, whatever. We podcast.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm a fireman. That's not how you start out.
Yeah, unless you have a nice mustache.
And it's a real easy thing. It's a real easy thing to fall into in this job because it has all the aspects of a family, right? You've got the firehouse, right? Mm-hmm. And the people you work with become like family and share meals and all that stuff. So
A lot of time
it
together.
can pretty easily replace, and I've seen people do it. It can pretty easily replace that,
Also,
in your personal life. So you got to be careful of that.
I wish my dad would come on. I don't know. Well, maybe one day. But I feel that he had these expectations that when he retired, he was still going to be needed by the local law enforcement.
Yeah.
And they were going to like reach out to him. He was still going to be well involved. And that's not what happened. It was day he retired. I mean, maybe the secretary reached out a couple times, but other than that, it was pretty much like
Things keep going.
ripped off the Band-Aid and like things keep going. And then you realize like how much time he dedicated towards that. And then,
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know if he has regrets. I haven't talked to him about it or anything like that, but there's certain people that remember you, but they're all retiring in the next five years here. And then nobody knows who you are anymore. Like all that effort and time and the beautiful things you did, like you got to do something for yourself.
For sure. And so I've tried to do that over the years. It was hard. And here we go again, right? As a chief officer, it was harder to do that because you can't just work your shift and then go home, make that separation. You're a lot more connected every day. Mm-hmm. And so I found as a chief officer, especially working 8 to 5, it was harder to make that separation. And so that's another thing you have to consider when you get into that role. But I could have done a better job with that balance, over the years, because I was just balls out, for quite a few years there, going on strike teams every summer and neglecting the family when I should have not been doing that, So it's an easy trap to fall into. But there's definitely an advantage to having that balance. And for me, like over the years when I was online, on my days off, I always tried to shut off the fire department, just go to my other life. So I worked in cattle, like a lot of what Cody does, but I worked on a big cattle ranch for years and had my own herd of cattle for a while and stuff. And I did that separate from the fire department for many years, and that was good for me because when I came back to work, I came back fresh, right? I had fresh, my batteries are fully charged. I was ready to take on that job, but I always tried to keep that separation, and I think that kind of helped me throughout the years. And it helped me mentally too, because I was able to, set the stresses and the exposures of that job aside and then go concentrate on this, which was a completely different industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're meeting completely different people.
Yep.
And I think that was a healthy balance for me, so that's something I would recommend too, is having something completely separate from the fire department. Yeah. And it could be a job like it was for me. I mean, I did the cattle thing for more of the experience, but it can still be work as long as it's completely separate from the fire department. That'll help as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like, if you had to pass on some closing advice to future firemen, especially like people that have 20 something more years?
How many?
You're on classic. Never mind.
22. I have 22.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Till I can, because I can't retire till 57.
Yeah.
Is that what you have to, right? 22?
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, it's
nerds.
freaking younger than both of us, and he got in classic.
Is that like some major advice that you think is like, hey, it's not all about,
Don't make it your identity.
yeah. Or do you have some other advice that you'd want to pass on to those?
That would be the big one. Yeah, I think so. And I thought about this before today, like this morning driving over here and stuff. That's, at least for me, that's an important thing to mention.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it is easy to slip into that, and concentrate on that fully. It's just the type of job it is, It's not a job. It's a,
It's kind of a lifestyle, a little bit, career.
can be. Yeah. So to keep that balance and just keep a perspective on what your priorities are, because when you do retire, and I mean, I still have relationships with guys I work with, and I still help out here and there. Like I'm helping Sonora Fire Department with their fire chief's promotional on Monday. I've helped MST with a few of their promotionals. In fact, they asked me to come back as a retired annuitant to do all the promotionals for MST, and I thought about it, but I declined because that's a huge project, and I just don't want to be.
You're in some prime years with your daughter right now, 12. And then does she do any sports besides
She does. She's playing tennis right now.
tennis? I wish I would have played tennis. I
Yeah.
got lessons, but
And we're not sure if she's going to stick with that. We hope she sticks with some sport, to play through high school.
Yeah.
But we're not quite sure what that's going to be yet. But yeah,
your prime years of like sports are really like more competitive sports or like hobbies where you want to be around for sure. So
for sure. And I
in
just
general.
didn't want to take on that type of project, So I respectfully turned it down. I mean, appreciate that they asked me.
yeah, it makes you feel good. for
Yeah,
sure.
but I turned them down. But yeah, that keeping that balance and that perspective is definitely important.
yeah.
Yeah. Adam's looking at his watch.
No, sorry.
No, I was looking at my phone this entire time too,
Smartwatch.
because I look up like notes or
Yeah.
things on the internet real quick because I'm not that smart.
The brain power is not
But
super
you
high.
just mentioned you were thinking about things driving over here. Is there anything else that you want to hit with that you want to talk about that you were like looking for? Any passions that you want to mention or anything like that? Can also always have you back on for sure.
Yeah, it goes join. If not, maybe sit on the side like Cody did this time. But yeah,
Well, if you can get what was the chief's
Tejan.
name? Tejan.
yeah,
If you get him on, then you sit on the sidelines.
yeah, I could do
Get
that.
you both on.
Because we need somebody also here that's smart enough to ask some smart questions.
I would love that. Yeah, I would.
So
do that.
I think that would be a good opportunity too. And I'm sure you'll be thinking of some stories between now and then and be like, okay, I got some good ones.
Yeah, let's work on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
appreciate you so much coming in here and talking to us. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very happy to have you.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
that's
Appreciate
great.
you coming
We should have
on.
more time to talk about some other stuff.
We have
Yeah.
we have other episodes. We can go
Yeah.
dig deep into anything and everything.
We can get some lunch, come back and do another one.
Let's
Yeah.
go to lunch.
Yeah, we just
talk
get
more there.
food and go from there. All right. Well, thank you, Chief.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in to the Caffeine Lifts and Public Assist podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, leave us a 5-star rating, share with your friends, and follow us on our socials. You can find us at CLPA Pod across the board. Have questions or feedback? Feel free to leave a comment, slide into our DMs, or email us at clpapodcast@gmail.com. We appreciate your support.